AI revolution has truly begun, and if you utilize it in your tool and arsenal, you're just going to be in front of everybody else who denies it and who tries to push it back. There's nothing holding AI back, and as soon as we realize that and as soon as we utilize it in our daily workflows, it's going to be better for everybody. Hey there, my name is Alex and welcome to this InvideoAI course where we are going to explore how to create videos using AI and InVideo fully in browser and fully online. We are going to explore what are some potentials of AI and why we should use it in our videos. We are going to go through interface and I'm going to show you some tips and techniques for best possible results. We are going to cover the art of great prompts, what makes the prompt great, and how to utilize it the best to work with InvideoAI. We will go over generation and highlights, how to edit your videos, how to make changes regarding the script, regarding the videos you will use different voiceovers, and we are going to cover the best exporting formats and options depending on your needs. We are going to cover how to use different AI tools and utilize them the best way possible in your workflow, and also talk about licensing rights, why are they important and where to familiarize yourself with different licenses which are available online. Finally, you're going to get your project task you're going to work on and really excited to see your results. Making videos has always been the tedious task and really time-consuming task because you have to find all of these different clips, you have to find different audio, you have to sync them together, you have to edit them, you have to export them. So why would you do that by hand if you can get help from AI to streamline your process and to make all of this work really enjoyable and fun? So I'll see you in the course. There are many different reasons why would you use AI to edit your videos and to get help with editing your videos. So I'm going to break this video down into 4 different sections. Number 1 is B-roll. B-roll is this really time-consuming thing where you have to get additional shots for the topic that you're talking about in your video. This can be somewhere around you, or if you're doing travel videos, for example, the ideal thing to do would be to travel to that destination, which of course means you have to invest your money and you have to spend time to actually travel to that destination. You have to bring your gear with you. Perhaps sometimes it's not going to be sunny, it's going to be rainy, so your shots are not going to be that great. So it's really time consuming and it can be extremely expensive to actually travel to those locations to get the B-roll, even around your house. Maybe you want to get a shot of you making a coffee, but your coffee machine is not that clean or not that great, or it just doesn't work that day. So what would you do in those cases? You would use some online tool which is going to contain a large library of these stock videos, which is great. You can utilize that in your workflow. Trouble is, it's extremely time consuming. You can even spend days looking for the right video just for a few seconds to use in your own video for B-roll. So it can be extremely time consuming, not to mention that vast majority of these tools are premium, so you would have to pay for them in order for you to utilize them in your workflow. Number 2, and this is really crucial thing these days because the time span and attention span is really short with people these days, is voiceover. If you don't want your voice to be in the video, or you're just getting a call that day, or you're just not feeling all that great that day and you want to get additional voiceover, or you're working for a client and your voice just doesn't suit their needs, you still have to find that voiceover. If you're booking a voiceover talent, usually they have to go into the external studio, which means they need to book the time in that external studio. You have to prepare the script, you have to send them the script over, they have to read it in their natural voice, send the script and the voiceover back to you, you have to check it and then integrate it into the video. If they have a studio at home, still this is really time consuming manner because you have to send them the script, they have to record that voiceover, send it over to you. If it doesn't work, then you have to rewrite it again, they have to re-record it again, so it can be really time consuming. There are platforms out there, of course, who have these voiceover artists, but the process is generally the same. You have to write the script, so invest your time writing the script, sending it over, they have to record it when it suits them, so Perhaps it's not working for them today, maybe next week, so you have to wait for them. Your video has to wait, your client has to wait. So there is this additional wait time when it comes to this voiceover stuff. So it can be really time consuming and, not to mention, extremely expensive. If the voiceover artist is really well known in the industry, they're going to charge high premium rates, which is fine because it's their talent. This is what they do best, but you can expect to charge your client even more just because of this voiceover. Number 3 is audio. I cannot tell you how many times I've searched for a great song to incorporate into the video. Sometimes it just doesn't work. The tempo is a bit off, maybe a bitrate is a bit low, or I just cannot find the category of song which I want to use for my particular video. Sometimes the section of a song is great, but it's too short, so you have to manually extend it, or is way too long, so you have to manually cut it. This, of course, is a huge time investment, and it's something that I really dread when it comes to video editing personally, because I'm not really that good when it comes to choosing the right audio for my videos, because it always sounds just a little bit off, and I always feel I could do better when it comes to choosing the right tracks for my videos. There are, of course, services out there which are free, and there are many of them which are paid. When you pay for a premium service, you can explore by different genres, different lengths of audio, different categories, and many different things. But all of this is a huge time investment, and sometimes your client just says no, so you have to do it all over again. Of course, you can create different collections, you can save these tracks into a collection, but this is still a huge time investment because you have to find the right track, because the track is actually what gives the video life, and it gives it this energy that your viewer is just going to feel. If the track is off, your viewer is not going to feel that great, hence they're going to drop off much faster, and your video is not going to get the best retention time it could, just because you chose the wrong track. So choosing the right audio for your videos is extremely important, and this is what I'm probably most excited about AI and how it's going to help us in the future, just by cutting the time of choosing these tracks down. And finally, one of the best things is InvideoAI is in the browser, so it doesn't matter which machine you have, you can just open your favorite browser. They recommend Chrome, and I recommend it as well, and you can just start editing, continue editing where you left off, and just enjoy all of the benefits that browser is going to get without worrying about things, expensive gear like graphics card or more RAM memory or huge screens or something like that. You can do all of it inside of your browser. Speaking about browser, in the next video I will walk you through the interface on InvideoAI, and I'm going to show you how to get around the tool and how to get started. So I'll see you there. In this video, I'm going to show you the interface of InvideoAI. I'm going to explain how to get around the tool and what's involved inside of making great AI videos. So here we are. This is the InvideoAI website, and I'm going to leave a link in the PDF. You can quickly access it if you want to just click and go to this website, which is going to be really easy for you. Again, just open up a PDF, click on the link, and you are going to be here. If not, then go to ai.invideo.io and create your free account to get started. How it looks like when you are here at home is here. When you click home, you will come to this screen where all of your previous projects are going to live. You can see your history and what your team, if you are part of the team or if you are a solo creator, then you can see all of your previous projects which are just going to live here. Here on the top you have create AI video, and you can start the video from scratch, which is what we will do a little bit later. And then here you have exports, which are actually the videos you exported previously for various different platforms, and you can see when you actually done it. For example, this video has been exported 8 months ago, so you can keep a clear track about your previous creations and generations, and about in which file formats have you exported them, for which length you exported them, for which projects. So it's really great place to organize your projects, to organize your videos, so you can easily find them a little bit later. Before I move on, you have this helpful little chat support bubble right here, and you can always reach out to InvideoAI support. They're really quick with it, and they are really prouding themselves on the fact that they are quick with responding to any questions that you might have. Next up, we have media library. So if I click there, you have different albums which you can create. You can create your media library, or you can see all. You can just basically drag and drop your videos right here, or your images, because you can combine different videos and different images into the final result you want to get. So make sure to upload your assets here if you want to use them in your generations. Next up, we have plugins. For now, we just have voices. How this works is you can add your own voice. So if you see right here, it says you can create a digital clone of your voice by uploading your voice recording over here. For best possible results, I would recommend you to record a voiceover of you reading a script of some sort, or maybe that can be a blog post or something where you can just immerse yourself into reading, and make sure that it lasts at least 60 seconds to give AI the best possible chance to actually recreate your voice to highest possible standards, because your voice is your own and you want it to sound like you do. So if you do want to add your voice right here, make sure just to try and explore it for at least 60 seconds to get the best possible results. Then below that we have the history. So again, same like in home, you can see all of the previous history that you created. Then here below, make sure to join their Discord community if you want to ask questions, if you are curious about future updates, if you want to chat with the team, if you have some suggestions about what they should create in the future, make sure to visit them there. Also right here, we have the app for iPhone. So if you're using iPhone, make sure to click right here. Android versions are going to come really soon in the future. So while you're waiting, if you are an iPhone user, make sure to select this if you want to edit your videos using AI on your phone. Then here are some social links if you want to follow the team. Again, here you have the create new. So if you just want to start from here, then here it says max, and this is actually the plan. So speaking about plans, you have the free plan, which is for anyone who wishes to try the AI video creation, and you have 4 videos per month completely free, which you can generate for free with watermarks. If you want to export without any watermarks on them, then you have to upgrade to one of the plans, which is plus or max in my case. And of course, if you go to pricing, you can see how they look like, and you don't have to pay yearly. You can also pay monthly. If you're not sure, for example, how many videos you want to create or how many minutes you will need, then you can just scroll this slider down, and here you get different minutes of AI generation. So what does this mean? If I slide it just a tiny bit up, maybe actually leave it like this, this is less than 1 hour per month of AI generation. Why is this important? Because it really depends on how much content you're going to create. If you're going to create longer videos and you're going to create 3 a day, and you're going to post them 4 times per week, for example, then this plan might not be good for you, and you should really increase this slider right here, because you're going to get this AI generation. If I hover right here, AI generated 50 minutes of videos with script, media, text, and voiceover. So all of it is included in those 50 minutes of generation. So just make sure to have that in mind. Then what we have right here is iStock. So royalty-free iStock media worth $1,000 plus per month. So you have 80 of those. So again, just make sure to keep track. There is also free stock media, which is also included inside of InvideoAI, but this is iStock, this is premium, and of course with these premium services, the quality of videos and images is much higher than with the free tools. And also there is one added advantage, those are collections. So for example, if you're choosing videos of, let's say, New York, then if you like a collection from a certain videographer in this case, you can just use that collection because you really like their style, you really like their pacing, you really like their colors or whatever else. This is the great advantage of using a premium tool like iStock. Then we have 100 gigabytes of storage. This might not be that big of an issue for you, but if you're making bigger videos, longer videos, then this can quickly add up and you can quickly fill up this storage. You have unlimited exports, which is great, and you have 2 voice clones. Why is this important? If you want to clone your own voice and somebody else's, then you have those 2. Maybe you want something like a male and a female voice, for example, for your, let's say, YouTube channel or Instagram profile or whatever, then you can do that, and up to 1 user, so you can control it. If you need more, you can again slide this slider and you can see the price increases, you can see the increase in options right here, and of course you can always reach out to the team if you need a custom offer for your videos. So that's basically it. That's how the tool looks like. It's really simple, as you can see, but it's really super powerful with what you can do inside of InvideoAI. In the next video, we're going to talk about art of great prompts. What is a prompt? What makes it great? And how you can work with InvideoAI to create the best possible results using your prompts. So I'll see you there. In order for text-based AI to generate a video in this case, or an image in some other cases, or a blog post in some other cases, you need to give it clear instructions. These instructions are called prompts, and there are many different ways that you can write prompts, and it usually varies from AI generator to AI generator, and of course what you're trying to achieve. If you're generating something which is a little more simpler, like an image, then your prompt doesn't have to be that detailed, but in majority of cases, the detailed the prompt, the better the response the AI is going to give you, and fewer changes you will have to make later down the line. Generally, there are hundreds of different approaches online, but you can basically break it down to 7 different steps to creating great prompts. Number 1 is clarity. You have to be clear with what you want AI to create, because again, it's a text-based tool. So the better your sentences are and the better structured they are, the better the responses are going to be. So if you need to put comma or period, make sure to do so, and make sure not to drag out your sentences too long, because AI might get confused. Remember, you're not talking to a person, you're talking to the computer, which is not really that smart unless you explain it in really well-defined sentence what you want it to create. Number 2 is specificity. Make sure to be really specific with what you want to be generated. Don't just be too broad. If you don't want your video, in this case, to be too broad, if you want to be specific, then make sure to be specific in your text, because that way AI is going to produce the best possible results. So don't just say, for example, for all the platforms or for all video formats or for all audiences. Make sure to be really specific with what you're trying to create, who you are trying to target, on which platform you're going to post, how long your video is going to be, and many other things. I'm going to talk about that in the second part of this video, but make sure that you are really specific with what you want your AI to create. Number 3 is relevance. Make sure to be relevant with your output. So input in this case is your sentence, your prompt, what you write to AI, and the output is what AI gives back to you. So in order for it to be relevant, make sure you write relevant sentences into your prompt so the AI has the best possible chance of understanding what you're trying to say. As technology evolves, as time moves on, as we have these new AI models, and as they get smarter and smarter and their databases are richer and richer, of course this is going to improve. But just make sure that you always try to be as specific and as relevant as possible and concise as possible if you need to be, just to get the best possible output from AI. Number 4 is context. Make sure to have a clear context in mind about what you want your AI to output. In this case, we want a video, so don't just go ahead and explain everything that you wanted to create and forget that you want the video to be generated. Also, what type of video, so make sure to put it in a context. Again, try to tie in your interest group with your video for best possible result, because the context really matters to AI if you want the best possible results out of it. Number 5 is creativity. Remember, AI is just a machine. It's not creative. You are the one who is creative. So the more creative you can be with your prompts, the more detailed responses you can provide it, then the better output is going to be. Again, this is just a tool which is going to help you do your work faster. So you have to be the one who is creative here, not AI. So the more creative you can be with generating your prompts, because the prompt is the only communication channel between you and AI, the best your results are going to be. Number 6 is engagement. The more engaging your prompt to the AI is, and the more it picks its interest, the better the results are going to be. So again, it's all in your tone of voice. Try to talk with it like you would talk with any other person, and try to be as relevant as possible, as concise as possible, as creative as possible, to pique its interest and curiosity for it to give you the best possible results. And finally, number 7 is the feedback loop. Nothing is ever done from the first try. So when AI provides you with a response, a video in our case, make sure to try and give it a proper feedback about what it got wrong, at which time, what you would like to change, and how you would like to look at. So make sure to be really specific with the feedback you're providing to the AI, because once again, you are talking with the machine. So the more specific you can be about which points in the video you would like it to change, the better your results are going to be. Again, there is an option inside of InvideoAI where you just want another generation, because for whatever reason you're not happy with the generation it provided you. You're rarely going to use it if your prompts are really good and really specific, because again, the prompts are the only communication channel between you and AI. So the more specific you can be, the best results are going to be, and the best results you're going to get, and the feedback loop is going to be much shorter. If your prompts are lacking, then the feedback loop is going to be much bigger and broader, because you're going to invest so much of your time into creating the best possible prompts. Now let's switch over to InvideoAI, and let me show you a prompt we are going to use for this course, how we are going to write it, what's important when it comes to writing this prompt, and what you can learn from it. So let's get started. Here we are back in InvideoAI, and for this particular use case, what I want to do, for example, is, let's say I have this nice video here. Let's not focus on the video specifically. Let's talk about, for example, photography. Now, photography can be a really broad topic. You can talk about framing of your photos. You can talk about positioning your models differently in your photos. You can obviously talk about gear. So which cameras are the best, which sort of tripods are the best, which lenses you can use for various different purposes. So let's start broad and let's see where we can take it when we start writing our prompt. So to get started, what I'm going to do is hit this create AI video, and it's going to give me this. So this is what I told you. This is the only sort of communication channel you have with the AI. It's this prompt. So it's really important that you are going to be really detailed and really specific and really to the point with what you wanted to create to get the best possible results and to reduce the feedback loop. This is really important. So you have some workflows down here. You have script video, you have YouTube Shorts, you can click explore all, TikTok video or Instagram Reels. So these are your workflows. So what I'm going to do for this course is, let's say YouTube Shorts, because I really like YouTube Shorts and I'm going to use them. So what you can do is click here. You can choose any settings right here, or you can tell it all that inside of your prompt. So again, let's quickly explore this. If you want to go down this route, you can click here and enter what your YouTube short is about. So basically enter a brief description here. So give more details. You can use settings. So who is going to give you the voice? Is it a male, a female, or your voice? So if you uploaded your voice there, like I told you, then you can just select it from here. Then any voice. You can get clear American voice, a voice with a Californian accent. So you can be really specific and choose the one which you think is going to bring the most interest from your video, YouTube short in this case. And let's collapse all this. You can add subtitles. So don't add any subtitles because I want my viewers to be engaged in a different way. Subtitles are generally extremely important because in this day and age, people really don't have a good span of attention. So if you don't provide the text with your video is going to do much worse on social media, because just remember, some people are in the transit, they are going to work, so they are in a public transit, they have their headphones in, for example, so they don't want to listen to your voice when they can read it, if this makes sense. Other people are in their break, for example, other people are in school, other people are on vacation or in crowded places. So a voiceover and a subtitle is really important when it comes to this audience, and this audience is actually huge because you never know, maybe a parent with a child, they go to bed late and they just don't want the audio to blast from their device and wake up their child or a pet or whatever. So make sure to always add subtitles, which are generated automatically. But if you want to add your own subtitles which you've written, then you can do so here. Add word by word subtitles where the current spoken word is in yellow. So that basically means it's going to show 3 words for what I just said. You can add subtitles with a standard look and feel, which is basically what I would recommend if you're getting started. Add subtitles with an outline, which is an outline around it or below it, where 1 word is shown at a time. Karaoke subtitles. So you can play around with these settings, and you can see the colored box right here, and you can perhaps play around with that, see if it works. And then you can use iStock normally. Don't use iStock, which, remember, if you are on a free plan, you don't need to use iStock. You can just use their default library. You can use fewer iStock media, which is basically a combination between premium and free media. You can use iStock just normally. Prefer using iStock when you can, and only use iStock. So you can tick all of these boxes, or just let the AI do the work for you. So right now what we are going to do is finally write our prompt in this case. So what I will do, because we are actually going to do a YouTube short, but I'm not going to select it from here. So imagine what we have to tell it. So let's start like this. So make a YouTube short video about, let's see, 5 tips on photography, for example. So I'm not going to be really specific about lenses. So here is your creativity, and when it comes to play, actually, if you're creating a brand new channel, for example, and you want to create a bunch of these YouTube shorts, then maybe you can divide them into separate categories. In one category, it can be tips about photography. So you can be specific here. So if you are going to cover wedding photography, what you would write here is 5 tips on wedding photography. I'm going to start broad here, and I'm going to start in general. So this channel, for example, in the future might have hundreds of shorts, but we can create a different series because your audience might be familiar with photography, but not these tips. So they are curious about them. If you just want to focus on wedding photography or car photography or event photography or baby photography or animals photography, it doesn't matter. You can put that as a separate topic. So this gives you additional topics that you can create using InvideoAI. So just keep that in mind. For this prompt, I'm going to go really general, but you can use the same structure I'm going to create here and you can add details inside of it. So remember, specificity, you can be really specific to get specific results which AI actually wants and likes, because it's going to provide you with the better results. So again, make a YouTube short, so we tell it for which platform this is going to be, about 5 tips on photography. Let's go like this. So video should be, let's say, 50 seconds long. So we are telling AI how long we want our videos to be, so it doesn't end up creating a 3-minute video which you have to manually cut yourself later. And of course, remember, it's going to use your iStock credentials if you want to do that. So in this case, I want to make a YouTube short which is going to be 50 seconds long, which is going to obviously reduce the iStock usage in this case, and the premium stock in general. This is actually just counted after you export your video, so keep that in mind. It's not going to count it when you're making changes, because you're not going to end up using it until you actually export, where you actually have to remove those watermarks. So just one thing to keep in mind. Let's go with start by introducing the topic and using title as text. So what we did right there is our topic is 5 tips on photography. So AI is going to start with that, and it's also going to use that text as title of our short in this case, which is going to be 50 seconds long, and it's going to be YouTube short. So you can see how specific we are, how clear we are with what we wanted to make, and how long we want it to actually be. Then explain the photography tips and give a conclusion, maybe give a conclusion that gives a summarization of all 5 tips and illustrates the best use cases. So what I wrote right here is I wanted to start with 5 tips on photography, then explain the photography tips. So you see what I did there. We have 5 tips on photography. It's going to explain those photography tips and give a conclusion that gives a summarization of all of those 5 tips. So it's really important to structure your prompts so AI can understand them and to give you the best possible results. So in this case, I want to grab their attention with, I'm going to give you 5 tips on photography. Then I'm going to break down all of these 5 tips. Because our video is 50 seconds long, perhaps we can even make it 60 seconds long, because if we have 5, then each of them is going to be only 10 seconds long, so they're not going to be that detailed. So again, you can really play around with this. If you think that 5 is too much, maybe you can go with 3, maybe you can make your short longer. So this is really that experimentation part, and where you need to be creative as someone who is writing these prompts. Let's go with the voiceover. So for example, use an English male voiceover. And let's give it a note. So conclude a video by using a call to action. And I'm going to put this in parentheses because this is actually the call to action it is going to use. So I told it to use the English male voiceover. Maybe we can even make this British, because it's just maybe going to be more attractive to some people. So British English male voiceover, and then note, conclude a video by using a call to action. And this call to action it's going to pronounce in the British English male voiceover is going to be let's see, wants more photography tips. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. And there we go. This is actually all I wanted to create. Let's format it like this. So let's go over it again. Maybe we can tweak it while we are here before the actual generation. So make a YouTube short. So we told it for which platform we want it to create a video. About 5 tips on photography. So this is our topic. We are really specific, but again, really broad, as I already explained. Video should be 50 seconds long. Now that I think about it, you want to pronounce this. Maybe we can go with 60 seconds. So let's just go with 60 because we have 5 tips. I already explained that. So video should be 60 seconds long. Start by introducing the topic and using title as text. So you can imagine it's going to start with something like, in this video we're going to talk about 5 tips on photography because this is what we told it. Then explain the photography tips. So again, really important because it's going to take these 5 tips and break them down and explain each of them, which is going to give us the actual meat of the content, the main part of the video, and why your viewers are actually watching this YouTube short. That gives a summarization of all 5 tips. So again, all 5 tips, and illustrate the best use cases. Use a British English male voiceover. Again, because I'm not using my own voiceover right here, I want it to generate a voiceover. Which type of voiceover should I generate? I will use with a British English male voiceover. Again, remember when I told you and showed you this shortcut right here for creating YouTube shorts, there you can select which type of voiceover you're going to use and from which, let's say, country or county you're going to use that voiceover, which again, it's not really that important, but if you want to be really specific with your audience, then it is really important, because if you're targeting, let's say, high-level executives which are from London and majority of them are male, for example, then British English male voiceover might do the trick, because that's basically your audience. So this is really an important part of prompt creation. And then finally, to conclude the video by using a call to action. Want more photography tips? Subscribe to my YouTube channel. So that's pretty much it. I know this has been a really long video, but it's really important video to understand what prompts are, how to formulate them. You can go and recreate this part by part, and perhaps I'm going to actually select this and make a copy, which I will provide in the PDF. And you can jump into PDF, you can copy this, analyze it, and then tweak it. Remember how I told you 5 tips on photography. So maybe car photography or wedding photography. Maybe you want to go with 20 tips or 10 tips and the video which is going to be 2 minutes long. And you want it for YouTube, which is a YouTube explainer. You can see right here, that's a long form video. So make sure to use this. It's going to be in the PDF. Make sure to tweak it to get your own best results. It doesn't have to be on photography. Maybe you want to explain space facts, for example, then maybe 3 tips, 3 fun facts about Pluto, or 5 fun facts about Jupiter, or how far is Jupiter from Earth, or how fast Earth rotates against Jupiter or against Sun. Or you can really play around with these prompts to get the best possible results. And remember what I told you about collections. Creating collections about topics is really going to give you a leg up when it comes to prompts, because you are not going to have to create a new prompt every single time. You can just reuse the prompt that you created and then add more to that topic, expand that topic, divide it into different groups and target your audience. Because in YouTube's case, for example, you can go into your YouTube studio dashboard, and there you can see who your audience is, how long they are watching, how old they are, from which country they are, what they like, what they don't like. So you can use this to your advantage when it comes to prompt creation, and you can adjust it to fit the needs and wants of your audience, which again is extremely important because you are at the end of the day creating these videos for somebody else. And if you know what they truly want and how you can deliver what they want, then your job is going to be that much more enjoyable and that much more fun at the end of the day. In the next video, I'm actually going to click this button and going to show you what happens next, and I'll see you there. Let's continue where we left off in the previous video. I'm going to start with generating the video, and I'm going to show you the process and what's involved with the video generation using InvideoAI. So here we are where we left off the previous time. When I hit generate a video, you're going to start with analyzing. So it's going to analyze our prompt and what we told it to be. So you can see here it says it might produce inaccuracies. Please review and edit as needed. Again, you're talking with a computer, so make sure to always check what you wrote. It says done analyzing. So title, snap it right, 5 quick photography tips. So you can see it created a title for us. Then it's going to start preparing our video based on the prompt and the title it created. So again, the more detailed we can be, the better these results are going to get. So again, here you can see the history. So history of your changes and what happened before this particular point in time. So you can always jump back and see. And then this is extremely important. What we see right here is the audience. So we have photography enthusiasts, we have YouTube learners, and we have beginner photographers. So who is your target audience in this case? I'm going to select beginner photographers, for example, but if your audience is photography enthusiasts, those people already know about photography. They know a lot about it. So make sure to structure your prompts according to that. So you don't have to be really beginner specific. You can tell them about lenses, you can tell them about different extensions, about flashes, about UV filters and polarizing filters and stuff like that. But if they are beginners, then they're really interested in photography, but they never done it, or they're just starting to do it. Or YouTube learners are just people who want to educate themselves about photography. They might not want to do it, unlike beginner photographers who want to do it and they started their learning journey. But YouTube learners are just people who watch, let's say, Mr. Beast video and then went over production video and then a car video and then a photography, a reel or a short. Then look and feel of the video. This is going to determine which sort of videos InvideoAI is going to use to create your video. So minimalist, modern, crisp or professional. Again, this is going to determine the usage of the videos in the background. I'm going to go with minimalist modern because I really like that aesthetic. Then the platform is YouTube Shorts because again, this is what we told it. Then you can edit prompt at this case. So if I want to edit something, I can do at this case before it actually generated the video. And I can just click continue because I think our prompt is quite good at this stage. We can always edit it later, which I actually want to show you at the next stage. So when I hit continue, it's going to start generating, and depending of your prompt, depending of what you told it to be, depending of the platform and depending of the changes that you made, and of course at the end of the day how fast your internet connection is, this process might take anywhere from 30 seconds to 2 minutes to maybe 5 minutes. So I'm going to pause the video here and come back when this is done. And now our video has been made and it's been generated. So let's go over in this video what we can sort of see right here, and in the next video I'm going to dive a lot deeper into what we created right here, how we can edit it and stuff like that. But before we do, let's just see this. I told it 60 seconds, it created 105. So maybe we should edit our prompt because this is over a minute long and it might not fall into category about YouTube Shorts. I might get an error saying that my video is too long. So there is a clear place where we can do something about it. Maybe reduce a call to action. Maybe that's going to reduce it by 5 seconds or something. But before I actually play the video, what we have right here is you can basically told it, really good job, I really like it from the first time, you did a good job, you didn't get a good job, and you can provide a quick feedback to the team about what happened. Then you can give it a command right here and generate. You can undo, redo, edit, and export, but we'll cover that in the next video. For now, let's just see the video that we got.
The art of photography, a realm where light and shadow dance in harmony. Ready to enhance your skills? Here's 5 tips to transform your shots. First up, rule of thirds. Imagine your frame divided into a grid of 9 equal parts. Place your subject along these lines or their intersections for a more balanced photo. Second, lighting. The best light for photography, the golden hours, dawn and dusk. Embrace these moments for stunning shots. Third, depth of field. Play with your aperture settings to create a blurry background or a sharp focused scene. Fourth, composition. Experiment with different angles and perspectives. An unusual viewpoint can make an ordinary scene extraordinary. Finally, post-processing. Don't shy away from editing. A little tweaking can elevate your photos from good to great. So there you have it. Rule of thirds, light. Apply these 5 tips and watch your photography skills blossom. Craving for more? Subscribe to my YouTube channel for a wealth of photography wisdom.
So there we go. This is our first generation. This is what we got. Obviously, this is not what I wanted, and I have many different changes I want to make, and I actually purposely made it like so. If I showed you the perfect result from the first try, you're not going to learn basically anything from it. So in this case, I purposely structured it like so. You can still use the prompt, by the way, which I provided you, but just make sure to tweak it a little bit the way I'm going to show you in the next video. But this is not really all that great. First of all, I don't really like the voiceover. I'm going to use the American voice, I think. Second of all, I don't really like the music. Thirdly, there is a lot of empty space at the end, and also the script is wrong in a couple of places. I saw that it's skipping the words and it's not using the words correctly and stuff like that. But from the first go, I think we got a really good starting point and a really good base point from which we can take this video to the next dimension. So let's jump into the next video of this course, where I'm going to start editing this, and I'm going to show you how you can tweak these results to get the best possible result out of your video. So I'll see you there. Now that we got our video, we need to make some changes to it. And as I said in the previous video, I purposely made few of these errors here and there just to show you, but even with these errors you saw we got a pretty nice result, and you still need to change something anyways, because let's just imagine that you're not creating this for yourself, but for a client. Clients always change their mind, in some cases in the very last moment, so you always need to jump back in and make a couple of changes here and there. So this is the ideal example of how you can do that, and also I'm going to show you some further, a little bit more advanced features of InvideoAI. So again, don't be afraid of changes, but you saw with these errors how much time we saved right here. So let's jump back into InvideoAI and let me show you how to work with it. So here we are back in InvideoAI, and you saw that for all of this it took maybe 5 minutes to create. And you can just imagine, even with these errors, as I said, for the voiceover artists, how long that would take, for the music, how long that would take, for the video finding of these stock videos, for putting them together, for animating all of these transitions, for creating subtitles all over it, and all of that is going to last for days, and it did all of that in just a couple of minutes time. So this is what I talk about when I say we need to work together with AI and not be afraid of it, but use it to our advantage, and to just go in front of the people who are either afraid of it or deny it or just don't care about it. Use it to your advantage. So let's jump right in and let's watch the video again and see what we can do about it.
Photography, a realm where light and shadow dance in harmony. Ready to enhance your skills? Here's 5 tips to transform your shots. First up, rule of thirds. Imagine your frame divided into a grid of 9 equal parts. Place your subject along these lines or their intersections for a more balanced photo. Second, lighting. The best light for photography, the golden hours, dawn and dusk. Embrace these moments for stunning shots. Third, depth of field. Play with your aperture settings to create a blurry background or a sharp focused scene. Fourth, composition. Experiment with different angles and perspectives. An unusual viewpoint can make an ordinary scene extraordinary. Finally, post-processing. Don't shy away from editing. A little tweaking can elevate your photos from good to great. So there you have it. Rule of thirds, lighting. Apply these 5 tips and watch your photography skills blossom. Craving for more? Subscribe to my YouTube channel for a wealth of photography wisdom.
So as I said in the previous video, you can clearly see that, for example, from this part to this part, this is an empty part of the video which should actually be trimmed. But how can you actually do it? You can hit edit right here, and what it shows you is this. First of all, we have this script which it came with, so I'm not really a big fan of the script, but we can change it here. What I want to show you is this. When you want to edit media, what you can do is you can replace the clips right here using the iStock or all. You can include or deselect the premium stocks, again from iStock. You can upload your own media, which of course if you're working for a client and they have a really specific use case and they want their logo animation, for example, or something like that uploaded, this is the place to do it. So I'm going to touch upon videos a little bit later, because first I want to touch upon the script. I don't really like the script it came up with, because it's not really all that great and it's not something which I want. So first of all, this short pause, we are going to get rid of it. And then this call to action, if you remember, if I pull up my script, it says conclude the video by using a call to action. Want more photography tips? Subscribe to my YouTube channel. So it got that a little bit wrong, so I'm going to copy that, and it says craving for more, subscribe to my YouTube channel for a wealth of photography wisdom. I don't really like that, so I'm going to cut that, hit paste, and say want more photography tips, subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is what I actually wanted. So there we have it, rule of thirds, lighting, depth of field, composition, and post-processing. I don't really like that as well, so I'm going to cut all of this. So there you have it. Apply these 5 tips and watch your photography skills blossom. Something about the word blossom, I'm not really sure. So apply these 5 tips and increase your skills, or maybe improve your photography. And improve your photography. Want more photography tips? Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Maybe I can get rid of this because we are using photography way too often. So want more tips? Subscribe to my YouTube channel. There you go. So the art of photography, a realm where light and shadow dance in harmony, ready to enhance your skills. Here are 5 tips to transform your shot. So I'm not really sure about this intro part, so maybe we can get rid of it. So let's say something like interested in photography. Here's 5 tips to transform your shots. First up, rule of thirds. Imagine a frame divided into a grid of 9 equal parts. Place the subject along these lines and then intersections for more balanced photo. That's actually good. Second, lighting. The best light for photography, the golden hours, is a golden hour. So let's just clean that a bit. Is a golden hour. Get rid of this. Dawn and dusk. maybe we can get rid of that as well, is a golden hour. Second, lighting. The best light for photography is a golden hour. Embrace these moments for stunning shots. I think that's good. Third, depth of field. So play with your aperture settings to create a blurry background or a sharp focus scene. This is actually fine. I'm going to keep it as it is. Fourth, composition. Experiment with different angles and perspectives. Unusual viewpoint can make an ordinary scene extraordinary. I'm not really sure about that, so let's get rid of that. So experiment with different angles and perspectives. I'm just going to leave it like that. Finally, post-processing. Don't shy away from editing. A little tweaking can elevate your photos from good to great. So we are really getting there with the script and what I essentially had in mind. And basically I will just leave it like this. I think this is good enough. Hit apply changes and you can see it's going to do its magic in the background. And I think this is actually going to make our video shorter, or at least it should, because I removed a bunch of text. And this is actually great because in some cases you want it to be longer, so you can play around with different settings. You can include more text, you can broaden your sentences, but in some cases, like in this one, because this is actually a really quick tip, I want it to be a little bit shorter. And what happened? We have a video of 45 seconds now. So what happened? Change script is what I told it to do. Snap it right, so 5 quick photography tips. And if I expand this up, we don't have any additional changes, but if we do, we are going to have it. So before making any other changes, let's see what we got now.
Interested in photography? Here's 5 tips to transform your shots. First up, rule of thirds. Imagine your frame divided into a grid of 9 equal parts. Place your subject along these lines or their intersections for a more balanced photo. Second, lighting. The best light for photography is a golden hour. Embrace these moments for stunning shots. Third, depth of field. Play with your aperture settings to create a blurry background or a sharp focused scene. Fourth, composition. Experiment with different angles and perspectives. Finally, post-processing. Don't shy away from editing. A little tweaking can elevate your photos from good to great. So there you have it. Apply these 5 tips and improve your photography. Want more tips? Subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Okay, so this is much better than what we had previously, but what I want to do is explore these pauses a little bit, especially with post-processing. So if I go right here, you can see where it says finally and then comma, post-processing. It creates a bit of a pause. So just listen.
Different angles and perspectives. Finally, post-processing.
Yeah. It looks like it's confused for whatever reason. So hit edit again, go to script. And then what I'm going to do is get rid of these parentheses. So just use first up, then comma, rule of thirds, second, comma, lighting. Try that and see if it makes any difference. Third, depth of field. Fourth, composition. There you go. Finally, post-processing. So maybe we can reduce this and just bring it a little bit closer and see if that makes a difference. Also, so there you have it. I'm going to put in parentheses short pause just before it gives me the call to action at the end. Hit apply changes and let's see what we got now. Remember, we are playing around with around 1 minute because this is actually what we wanted in the first place. So if it introduces a bit of pause there, maybe that's good because it sounds just a tiny bit somehow like a machine still, because it's just reading this without any natural pauses. So maybe you can say something like insert a 1 second pause or something like that, just so that we can see what it does. And this is basically your game now. You have to change it, update it, see what works, see what doesn't, increase, decrease some things. And I'm going to give you a lot more tips after this, but this is really a first and crucial step. So let's give it a listen again.
Interested in photography? Here's 5 tips to transform your shots. First up, rule of thirds.
You see?
Your frame divided into a grid of 9 equal parts. Place your subject lines or their intersections for a more balanced photo. Second, lighting. The best light for photography is a golden hour. Embrace these moments for stunning shots. Third, depth of field. Play with your aperture settings to create a blurry background or a sharp focus scene. Fourth, composition. Experiment with different angles and perspectives. Finally, post-processing.
Yeah, much better.
Don't shy away from editing. A little tweaking can elevate your photos from good to great. So there you have it. Apply these 5 tips and improve your photography. Want more tips? Subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Again, it didn't give me that pause, but I think we're fine because it's the tail end of the short. So perhaps people at that point, if they liked it, they are still going to subscribe because obviously they watched the entire thing. But maybe if not, maybe we can help it aid a little bit more. Maybe I can say longer pause, or pause for 1 second, or pause for 2 seconds, or something like that. Or I can even increase this length of the video by telling the prompt, which I'm going to show you right now in a different way. So it says, give me a command to edit this video. Change the tempo of a voiceover to a slower, or slow the voiceover a little bit, and extend the video by 5 seconds. Let's see if we can get that. It usually allows me to change the voiceover, so perhaps this is something we have to do manually a little bit later, but either way, let's see what we got after the generation has been finished. But again, it's all about tweaking, it's all about trying different things, see what works, see what doesn't. So maybe in this case it just got confused. So change the duration to 0.75 minutes. So let's see what we got there. And also you can always go back and upload your own voice, or you can start the prompt all over again, or you can go back, or you can refresh, regenerate, as you can see right here. So there are plenty of different options that you can use to get the best possible results. Now that it's done, you can see it increased it by 3 seconds, which is fine. We are still in 1 minute realm. So if I hit play, there we go.
Here are some essential tips to elevate photos. First, embrace the rule of
You can see how much calmer it is right now. Let's just go to the end, see call to action, and see what it did right there.
And that's it for today. Apply these 5 tips and witness an improvement in your photography. Craving more tips? Subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Yeah, it changed the script again, but I'm not really that mad about it. So if I go to edit script, really, apply these 5 tips and witness an improvement in photography, crave more tips, subscribe to my YouTube channel. So it still included in that call to action, which I wanted. It just added this little sentence. So I'm not really that mad about it. Let's speak about videos. So finally, if you don't like any of these videos, you can hit edit, and you can see, for example, at which stage of the script it is using certain videos. So if we go, you can see C1 right here. I'm not really sure about this, so I can just click right here, and I can see the ideal duration is between 5 and 11 seconds, and you can change the center point. Why is this important? Is in the next video I'm going to show you some exporting options and formats, but basically, is the video horizontal or vertical? Is it portrait or landscape? This is really important because if you want the center focus of that video, then you will play around with the center point of it. If you want the video where the subject, let's say a person standing next to a lake, is on the right hand side of the video, and InvideoAI tries to recognize it, it does a good job, but not the best job, then you can apply the center point and just move it around a little bit to properly center your subject into frame the way you actually want it. So how to do this is, it's actually really quite simple. Let's say I want to change this video. I'm going to select it, and then I can search right here let's see, interested in photography. Here are some essential tips to elevate photos. So printed photos on a table. Hit enter or return. So how I envision this is maybe we are starting with a bunch of printed photos on a surface, in this case a table. So maybe we can do something about that. So here we have this option, as you can see. So we have this, we have a person just browsing through different photos, which is also a great option. Or here we have a person just looking at a photo album. So maybe that would be a good option. Here they are flipping between different photos, so maybe this is good as well. But I actually like this, so I'm going to hit replace. And as you can see, it placed it on top of our original video, which is great. And all I have to do is just click this apply changes button. And remember, this is our first frame. So let's see what it did. There you go. So it changed it to, in my opinion, a much more interesting video. However, this is not really what I want, because it's showing some sort of scene which is not really appropriate. So let's go with pictures on a desk. And I'm going to get rid of this one because I'm not really a big fan of it. But let's go with something different. I want to give the viewer some sort of a nice feeling and welcoming feel when they go into the video. So we have a bunch of images here. Maybe the person looking at the photo at the desk. So maybe that's going to be a good option for us. So let's see. Yeah, maybe this. So let's start. There we go. Apply changes. And let's see how that looks like. So when I play.
Interested in photography? Here are some essential tips to elevate photos. First,
it's not really that great. So perhaps that idea didn't work. So I can get rid of it from here. I can just click delete and then show, let's say, camera on a table, or DSLR. Camera on a table, and see what we get. Because interested in photography, then the next frame is this person looking at the camera, then the next frame is this person taking photos. So maybe we can do something about that. So let's see what we can take. Yeah, maybe something about this. So let's see what we can do there. So again, instead of this video, we're going to get this video or this image. This is actually what I wanted to show a little bit later, but this is great because it gives me the opportunity to talk about images. If you have custom images, let's say I want to introduce a 3D camera, which is fun and bright, which is in tone with my YouTube channel, for example, then I can just insert it here into my media library, include it here, and then I can place it instead of this video. But here it just did it for me, so you can just see how that looks like. Yeah, about the golden hour, I'm not really a fan about it, so cherish the golden hour. So when this video comes in, I'm going to choose golden hour Paris, for example, and see what we get. Again, if you're doing wedding photography, then maybe you can choose the shot which is more balanced when it comes to that, but I really like this. And let's see. Yeah, I got a bunch of these photos. Paris, let's go with video and see what we got, because the Golden hour is really specific about photography, but it doesn't have to be, as you can see right here, because we have this nice drone shot. So maybe we can use that or explore a little bit more. Yeah, let's go with this one. I really like it. So hit apply changes, and here you will see that centering which I was talking about. So if I switch to where it was here, there you go. You can see how it nicely centered the Eiffel Tower. And don't worry about 480p. We will talk about that in the next video when it comes to exporting. This is just a much faster way for AI to process these videos, to organize everything and to put it into perspective. So I think it did a better job here. Yeah. And of course you can go in and say how long this video is going to be, because we have 7 seconds, we have 7 seconds, we have 7 seconds. So I can jump in right here. So ideal duration is from 7 seconds. It says 4, as you can see right here. Maybe I want this to be 5, maybe I want this to be something different. So let's go with 5 for this one. There you go. And let's go with, I don't know, maybe 5 for this one as well. There we go. So just slight little touches here and there. Then what we have is when it talks about lenses. So let's go keep editing and apply changes. There we go. And let's go to the tail end. Like this.
Significantly enhance your pictures. And that's it for today. Apply these 5 tips and witness an improvement in your photography. Craving more tips? Subscribe to my YouTube channel.
What I want to do there is when the very last video is shown, so this, I want to say video of people taking pictures with DSLR camera. So let's try to be more specific with what we want right here. It's, or maybe people with DSLR camera, or person with DSLR camera, but I want a video here. So video of a person, because this is the conclusion of the video and I want to be able to show that. So maybe videographer or photographer with camera video. Let's try that, because it's pulling from external website. In this case iStock, you have to be specific sometimes. So we have this one, which is great. We have this one, which I really like, and I'm actually going to use it. So hit apply changes, and remember this is our very last frame. So somewhere around here. Somehow it replaced this one instead of this one. So it doesn't matter. Let's try something else. Let's try to select this one, and then maybe we can use the same sort of prompt. So person with a camera, with a DSLR camera, and let's go with that, and let's see what we are going to get. Because I really want to end on some sort of high note. I don't want these effects showing here. So maybe this is a good option. Let's see if we can get something a little bit different. Yeah, maybe even this is good. There we go. It gave us this option before. So I'm going to go to the end and see it applied. There you go. But for some reason it didn't apply. Let's try again. There we go. Yeah, definitely looks much better. And now what else you can do is, let's go with this. Reduce the volume of the voiceover. or use a different, use a inspiring, or use a background song which has more tempo. Let's try that, because this background track in this case is too slow for me. It kind of distracts a little bit, if I'm honest, and it doesn't give me any connection with the video. So in this case I want it to be something just a little bit different. So let's see now. You can see already what it did.
First, embrace the rule of thirds. Imagine your frame as a grid of 9 equal parts and position your subject at the intersections of these lines, delivering a balanced picture. Second,
definitely much better. What we can also do is, let's say, we slow down the voiceover, we can reduce its levels. So we can say make the voiceover less loud, for example, or lower down the volume of the voiceover, or increase the volume of the track, or do things like that. But what I want to do finally, before we move to the export, is actually get rid of this photo. And for here I want DSLR camera in a store video. Let's try that. And if it doesn't, then let's try with something else, because it's not giving me any videos of it. Okay, DSLR, new DSLR camera. Let's try with that. New DSLR camera. Let's try that, because I want to open with a camera. So maybe we can use this. It's from Storyblocks, so it's not for from iStock, it's from Storyblocks, which is the premium feature. But let's just go with something a little bit different. Person using DSLR camera. Let's see what we get there, because that sort of prompt gave us the most variation, I think. So let's see. No, we're not going to do this. Yeah, maybe we can go with something like this. There you go. Or this. Yeah, let's include this. There we go. Hit apply changes. And with that, I think our video is going to be good. Again, you can play around with different settings. You can go into previous settings, you can go into history and then apply that, but you can see it's changing the media. So sometimes when the video is too large, perhaps it's 4K in its natural sort of quality and stuff. Maybe that is what's taking too long. Sometimes your internet connection might not be that good. So just keep all of those things in mind, because the more changes you make, the more requests you are making to AI, and the more time it takes to think and to provide with the output. So this is actually where the tweaking of the original prompt can really be beneficial, because you can get started with something which is a lot less complicated and a lot more to the point, unlike I did. But again, I did it this way just to show you what the bad result is and what the good result is. I'm really happy with what it gave us. It's just with the videos, I want to make a couple of changes here and there, and perhaps in the future, maybe let's say my client is not going to like the music, so I might come back with the music. So I'm going to pause here and come back when it's done and show you the final result. So there we go. Now that I made the final change, let's watch it for one more time and see what we got at the end.
Interested in photography? Here are some essential tips to elevate photos. First, embrace the rule of thirds. Imagine your frame as a grid of 9 equal parts and position your subject at the intersections of these lines, delivering a balanced picture. Second, cherish the golden hour, the best time for photography. Third, toy with aperture settings to tweak the depth of field, resulting in a blurry background or a crisp scene. Fourth, Explore composition. Experiment with unusual angles and perspectives for a unique, lastly, post-processing. Never fear editing. Minor tweaks can significantly enhance your pictures. And that's it for today. Apply these 5 tips and witness an improvement in your photography. Craving more tips? Subscribe to my YouTube channel.
What I found there is it's great, but we have one mistake in the script. So let's see, explore composition, lastly post processing. You see, perspectives for a unique, and it just stops there, for a unique look. Let's give it that and hit apply changes. Why unique look? Because it didn't really finish the sentence. So I wanted to finish the sentence, and this is basically why I chose that. But apart from all of this, we got a really good result. Because we are making so many changes to this video, it takes a bit more time to generate, so just keep that in mind. Again, it always comes down to a good prompt and about how good your idea was. I'm extremely happy with the result. It's just that one little bit I wanted to change. What I didn't mention is you can go back to the previous result, so undo. So let's say I changed the script right now, I can go back to the point where I didn't, and you can see right here what it did at all times, as I said. That's basically it for this video. Let's now jump into exporting, and in the next video I'm going to show you how to do that, how to play around with different file formats for ideas, and what to consider when it comes to formatting, when it comes to exporting, and when it comes to optimizing your videos for best possible results. So I'll see you there. In this video, we are going to talk about exporting options and what InvideoAI has in store, and also how to think about different formats when you're shooting, when you're thinking about videos, when you're thinking about social media, and when you're thinking about optimization for your audience and for your personal use case. So let's jump into it and let me show you what I mean. So here we are back where we left off. Again, I'm pretty happy with the video, and when I hit export right here, it's just going to give me this option, export video. So when I click there, I get these options. So basically what all of this means, if you're just getting started, you can think about videos for 2 basic formats. And if you take your phone and basically just, you know, rotate it around, this is a landscape, this is a portrait, and basically this is all you need to care about. How your video is consumed is in one of the 2 orientations. It's either landscape or a portrait. Majority of social media these days, especially TikTok and YouTube shorts and Instagram reels, are in that portrait orientation. So like you're holding your phone like this, and majority of longer videos like YouTube explaining videos or movies are actually landscape. Why all of this matters is when you're thinking about the quality for your video, you always have to think about the highest possible quality, because screens these days are getting much better than they used to be, let's say just 5 years ago, let alone 10 years ago and so you always have to think about the quality, because your content is going to be watched on a higher quality screen than it was a couple of years back. Then there is the orientation which I mentioned, so how it is consumed. Majority of content which is consumed in portrait orientation is a fast-paced content. So again, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube shorts are all consumed like that, because it's just the content on the go, while majority of landscape videos these days are consumed in longer form content. So that's either you're going to turn your phone landscape and just take a rest, or assume a position which is good for you and then just invest a lot of time into watching the videos, or in majority of cases, movies. Movies are consumed that way because it's just more pleasing to the eye. Why I'm saying all of this is because the quality of the video is important, the orientation of the video is important, and at the end of the day, the platform for which you are creating these videos is really important. What you see right here is said export for YouTube because we put it as YouTube short, but even if you select Instagram Reel, for example, in some cases it's going to say export for YouTube. That doesn't really matter. What matters here is how you started and what you defined in your prompt. If you said, like you saw with our video, you can see the black borders around our video, which is in landscape, are black. What that means is they are not filled. What that means is we have a portrait video which is placed inside of a landscape video. Again, this is really important because of the exporting purposes, because you have to tell InvideoAI what you want to export for. So not to make this any more confusing, as I said, you have portrait, which is what we created right here. You have landscape, which is what this basically is, but the end result is going to be what we said, platform related. Then what we have here is, so it says optimized for high quality YouTube publishing. So again, don't worry about it because it says YouTube, it doesn't really matter. It's going to be high quality on any social media. So on Instagram, on TikTok, whatever you're posting, on X maybe or something. Then we have stock watermarks or no watermarks. This is important if you're on a free plan. So you have to show these. So stock watermarks if you're on a free plan. If you're not, then you just click no watermark, or in my case, it's already been selected. Then select InvideoAI branding. If you want, you can choose normal, on subtle, or none. It's because of the plan you selected. So in subtle terms, it's just going to show the logo mark, for example, just in a corner or something. While with none, with my plan, for example, it doesn't show you anything. Then select video resolution. 480p, 720p, and 1080p. What this is basically is just the number of pixels on a page, and in the next video I'm going to show you that when we actually work with different tools in combination with InvideoAI. But basically always try to aim for 1080p because that's usually the full resolution and that's usually what you actually want. Finally, it says right here, InVideo is a creative tool and is not intended to be factual. You are responsible for the content of the final video. You use 0 out of 3,200 iStock licenses. The video would use 7 out of quota resets in 29 days, which is important because it's going to give me this amount again in 29 days. When I hit continue, it's going to start rendering, and you can see what it does right here. It's rendering the video, and it's using my team credentials, so don't let that confuse you. And finally, we are going to get the final result right here. And it already started downloading the video. You can see it right here, or I can click download from right here. What we have here is we have no views, so we have the outline, and I can just click right here to copy, and I can go ahead and send this over to my client or my teammates or whoever. What I can also do is I can divide it into chapters, which I don't really want because it's a YouTube short. It's going to just be looked at as a single piece of content. And I also have settings, so I can play at different speeds if I want to. And finally, let's look at the final result we got from this video.
Here are some essential tips to elevate photos.
First of all, you can see how higher quality it is, because remember, it was 480p during the creation process. Now it's 1080p, so it's much higher quality, not just of the video but of the sound as well, because remember, it does this because it's much faster to make generations and to make changes in lower resolution than in higher resolution.
Embrace the rule of thirds. Imagine your frame as a grid of 9 equal parts, and position your subject at the intersections of these lines, delivering a balanced picture. Second, cherish the golden hour, the best time for photography. Third, toy with aperture settings to tweak the depth of field, resulting in a blurry background or a crisp scene. Fourth, explore composition. Experiment with unusual angles and perspectives for a unique look. Lastly, post-processing, never fear editing. Minor tweaks can significantly enhance your pictures. And that's it for today. Apply these 5 tips and witness an improvement in your photography. Craving more tips? Subscribe to my YouTube channel.
You can see that it got rid of the watermarks, which is great because I am on a max plan right now. And as I said, you can see that the quality is much higher, so you can just rest assured when you use this video for a YouTube short in this particular use case, it's going to retain that high quality. And what I forgot to mention is that you can share it from here as well. So when I hit that, you can set the permissions. So if you want it to be private, unlisted, public, whatever, or you can just copy this video and share it over. So that's pretty much it. If I go back to home, if I hit show more and see all of the projects, then in a couple of minutes it's going to show here as a previous project, and I can go ahead and edit it further. But that's pretty much it. In the next video, I'm going to tackle some different AI tools which you can use with InvideoAI, because it's really important to combine different AI tools and which are going to help you increase the speed with which you provide these videos and with which you are producing them. So I'll see you in the next video. Let's now talk about working with different AI tools and some different results that we can get, because there are plenty of things you can achieve inside of InvideoAI, but the best route you can take is to combine it with other tools. They don't necessarily have to be AI, but just like we used InvideoAI for video editing and for video creation, you can use some other AI tools to help you with some other tasks, like for example image editing, which is really important because especially with YouTube, but also with other social media platforms out there, the cover image is the actual attention grabber. So the better your cover image is, the better it reflects to what you created inside of the video, the higher chances are of people actually clicking on it and actually watching it, which in turn is going to give you enough data so you can know and understand how to improve it over time. Especially if you're doing this for clients. If they have big YouTube channels, for example, then you're going to look at the stats and let's say that they have a design system in place, for example, for the colors and for the logo and let's say the branding guidelines, in which cases you're using what. So this can be really complex over time, and it can be really difficult to get your head around it. But just to get you started, in this video I'm going to show you a couple of different options that you have for creating these thumbnail images, as they are often called, or cover images, however you want to call them, and to give you a bit of a leg up and what you can expect when you start with the creation. So let's just get started, and I'm going to show you what I mean. So first things first, what we have here is InvideoAI. This is where we kind of left off the previous time. First things first is, let me show you the sort of most popular tool out there. It's called Midjourney, and to use it, you need to actually have access to Discord. So you can go to Midjourney website and then find this Discord channel, and then you can join it. You have these newbies right here. These are the rooms where you actually jump in and you start your prompt by creating what you actually want. So you can see right here, a laughing long curly hair teenage girl with freckles in white. So this is the prompt again. So the more detailed the prompt is, the best result it's going to give you, and the best result you will actually get at the end as the output. So just keep that in mind. Everything around AI is around prompts, and good prompts get good outputs, which are actually the most time saving. So you can go ahead and get started right here. So it said imagine, so you have to go with /imagine and then with your prompt. What I don't like about this is that you have to wait for all of these people to finish their generation. So if I go / and then imagine, which is the prompt, and then space. So now I have to write my prompt. So 3D model of the DSLR camera. Let's go with comma, for example, black body with wide angle lens attached, and just click. Now it requires the subscription from me, so I either have to subscribe, because I think, yeah, due to extreme demand, we can provide a free trial right now. So just keep that in mind. I managed to do it some other time. This time I didn't. So just because of this, you can use Leonardo AI, which in my opinion is a much better tool either way, because it gives you so much more options right here just out of the box. And unlike Midjourney, you don't have to use Discord because they have their own website, they have their own platform, and they also have many different models which you can use to generate your images. So first of all, let's quickly go through what we see right here. They have personal feed, which is what you upload. They have community feed with what everybody from the community uploads. Training and data sets, which basically means if you are a photographer, you can upload your photos, train your own model. Based on that model that you trained, you're going to get the images at the end. So just imagine the possibilities you have right there, especially if you're somebody who is drawing, then you can do the same thing here as well. And it's going to export the images based on your drawings in that style, in that line work with those colors and stuff like that. Then we have fine-tuned models. If I click right there, these are actually the models that they already fine-tuned. So they gave them names and you can see what each of them does and basically what each of them is going to give you. Then you have different tools. We have image generation, we have real-time canvas where you can actually do some sort of painting in real time over the canvas. Real-time gen, again, just like image generation. Canvas editor, where you can basically expand your canvas. If you start with, let's say, portrait and you want to go to landscape because you either change your mind or you have another project, then you can do that there. You can just cut it right there and expand it and add an additional layer on top of it, which you cannot do in Midjourney, for example. Then you have the upscaler. Let's say you generated your image to be either too low of a quality or at a different orientation or at a different size, then you can do that there. Finally, they have motion, which is brand new and not really all that refined as of making of this course, but in the future maybe it will. So the models you generate, you can actually animate. So just think about those possibilities. And you can then export those animations as either video files or GIF files, which you can upload back into InvideoAI and then insert it into your video. You can just imagine possibilities you have right here. And then finally we have texture generation. So what we are going to do, I'm going to switch to image generation. And again, we have the prompt. So what I'm going to do here is write the same thing again. So 3D model of a DSLR camera, black body, because majority of these cameras have black body, with a wide angle lens on it. And I'm going to say playful style, playful 3D style. Let's just see what we are going to get. And inside of Leonardo AI, you can choose different models. So I'm going to go with either 3D animation style or Dream Shaper or Pastel Dream or something. Let's go with this. Let's see what we're going to get and generate. This will use 4 tokens and you have some free tokens to get started. I have 150 before I upgrade, so you will too. Just hit generate and see what you will get. Usually what you can do at that stage is export this image as a transparent PNG, and that's what we're going to do. And if it's not transparent, I'm going to show you a way to get rid of it inside of Photoshop, because you have to work over these obstacles. AI cannot do everything for you. The idea here is that it's going to provide majority, but not everything. So, for example, from this case, I really don't like these results because perhaps the model was not good for me. So 3D animation style, let's try that. I'm not really sure it's going to do me any favors here as well, but if not, I'm just going to go with the good old realistic style and see what it gives me. And of course here you can see the image dimensions. They are all in the landscape format, so they're just going to go up from here, and here you can change and make your custom dimensions. You can choose the guidance scale, you have the orientation and the aspect ratio, for example, and you can click here if you want it to be photoreal, if you want it to be transparent, if you want the alchemy, so all that good stuff. So for example, I like this one, so I'm going to select it. And you have a couple options here. So you can copy it to clipboard, you can download it as it is, you can unzoom, you can remove background, which is going to cost you 2 extra tokens. So what I'm going to do is just download this image, and I'm also going to show you how it looks like when you remove the background here. And also you have a bunch of these different options right here, but let's not drag it too long. I'm just going to click right there. And ideally what you would do is you want to grab the attention. So when people see this image, it doesn't look like a normal camera, and maybe that's the point. Maybe that's what you want. So you have the original image and you have no background, which is how this looks like. And I think it did a great job. So I'm going to download this image as well. So we will have 2 images, one with background, one without a background, and basically that's it. Now what to do with this particular image? Now you can go about it in many different ways, but there are premium ways and there are free ways, of course. You can use something like Canva, which is free to get started, and you have plenty of templates out there. You can adjust those templates and then insert these images inside of there. Or you can go the custom route if you want full complete control of it, which also has a free and premium versions. So free version of that would be Figma, and inside of Figma what I would do is hit F for frame and then just draw a frame. For the width I will go with 1080 pixels, for the height 1920 pixels, because that's going to give me this dimension which is in portrait orientation. Now I'm going to call it thumbnail image, and just to give you an idea, I'm going to hit Ctrl D and then rotate it, for example, or just click right here, and it's going to show me how this looks like. So this is now landscape, this is now portrait, and you can basically adjust it like so. What I did previously is I downloaded this image from this website, which I really recommend, and it has many great assets. It's called Icon Scout, and if you are a fan of this style and you think it's going to work for you, I'm going to switch to 3D illustrations and I'm going to type in camera, and you can see what it gives me right here. So many playful styles, many different options, so you can do that. You also have a lot of animations, so animations right from start, you have illustrations, icons, assets, all that good stuff. So I downloaded this little camera, I'm going to pop it in right here, and for the thumbnail image I'm going to go with a different fill color, so maybe something like this, or maybe I can go with color like this maybe, or something like that. And then I'm going to enlarge it by holding shift, rotate it a little bit, maybe position it here. Now what this needs is a bit of text, so I'm going to hit T, and let's just quickly find our video, and the exported video is called 5 quick photography tips. Snap it right. So I can either write snap it right or 5 quick photography tips, or we can do both. So let's duplicate this. Let's call it snap it right. There we go. And I'm going to increase the size of it by a lot by holding my shift key. There we go. And we're using Inter, which is fine as a font. I don't really care about it too much. But what I would do in this case is perhaps maybe put this like so, maybe make this centered, maybe make it extra bold, there we go, and maybe make this, let's say, bold, but I don't want it to be this big, maybe something like this. Then what you can do is hit Shift A, which is going to put it in something which is called auto layout. which basically is just a group with which you can work with. So in this case, here are the settings, so left and right, top and bottom spacing. So here I'm going to say maybe, yeah, let's just increase it a little bit to maybe 16, and here to 16 as well. And I'm going to include a fill color. Let me hide myself so you can see it. Here it is. Click right there, and for the fill color, what I will do is maybe sample this because I think it looks good. And then I can insert a bit of corner radius, which is to make the corner rounded. So maybe I can do something like this, or maybe 50 to make it really pronounced. And then just increase this a little bit, maybe like this, and maybe like this. There we go. So I'm going to snap it here and then here. What this is going to allow me is to grab their attention even more. But I don't think that this font size is really that great. So what I will do is just reduce it in size a little bit. There we go. Hence, I don't need this much spacing top and bottom, but let's just say I want to keep it. So you can hold Shift 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And same here. And then just frame your camera just a little bit better to something like this. And there you go. Maybe I can position this here and then enlarge this even more. Something like this. There you go. So you can see what we got. I can click here to make it centered, and maybe I can cut it just slightly. There you go. So you can really play around with these different settings. You can achieve different results. You can maybe put some abstract shapes in the background. You can do all sorts of cool stuff right here. The important bit here is to make this image pop and to attract attention. What you can also do is hit maybe O for the circle, place it roughly around here, and then you can right click and send it to back like so. Then I will choose a bright color, something attention grabbing, like this, some sort of fire or something. So you can leave it like this, or you can add different effects to it. So instead of drop shadow, I'm going to go with background blur, and I'm going to increase it by a lot. Or instead of background blur, I can go with layer blur. There we go. So instead of this amount, maybe I can go with something a little more subtle. There you go. We can either select the ellipse and make it larger or make it smaller, depending on what you want. And I can also reduce its opacity if I think it's a bit too bright. So maybe something like this, just because I want this camera to stand out and to grab attention. What you can also do is put frames around it. So the easiest way is just to select your entire frame and then just add stroke to it. So click right here, add a text stroke of, let's say, 10 points or something, and then change the color of it. Let me hide myself again to white. And you can see how much more of a better framing we got just by doing this. So again, stroke, color, and then just maybe 20 or something. But in this case, I would maybe reduce this down just slightly, maybe, I don't know, maybe keep this as it is. So it's just, you know, playing around at this point. Maybe this is good. So yeah, there you go. With just a couple of little clicks, we got what we wanted from the model, which is created in Blender from this particular website. And using Figma, which is a free tool, which you can just log in today and use, and you can use it in various different formats. What I want you to see is, if I select this fill color, copy it, oops, click here, fill, Control V, there we go. Then I'm going to add a stroke of 20, and I'm going to go with white color. Then I'm going to select these two, Control C, Control V, place them in the center, there we go. But I might want to position it here. Then copy this text and make sure it's left aligned by clicking here, there you go. Yeah, and I don't want it to be this big. Perhaps this is good. Now you can put it in the center, or you can put it a bit lower down, because I want to select this and paste it here. There we go. And I might want to reduce this to 48, for example, or even 40, because I don't want it to be this big. Now I can select these two, hit Shift A on it and create a group. And I can say 40, for example, and just snap it in the center like this. And then finally select these two and just move them around. And with just a couple of clicks, you can see that we got two cover photos, which are basically the same. So two thumbnail images. So why is this important? If you're using these assets already, it makes sense to create templates, which you can reuse later, which you can think of as prompts, because these templates are going to allow you to create hundreds of these images for hundreds of these videos, which InVideo is going to allow you to create. So just remember what we talked about these collections. So this can be a general photography collection. Maybe this can next be a wedding photography with a different background, with a different image. So just think in that sort of terms, where you can create multiple items at the same time, which is going to increase your speed in creation and productivity. Just think about where you can get with this sort of workflow, where you set everything up, use InVideo, use something like Figma, use something like Leonardo AI for these models. You're just going to be unstoppable with what you create. And also you can work with different clients to earn a lot of money by creating these things, because this is going to increase their productivity as well, lower down their costs, because again they have to hire 5 different people for 10 different things, where you can do all of it yourself with the help of AI. Finally, what I want to show you for this video is the use of Photoshop. Now, Photoshop obviously is a well-known tool, so there is not really that much that I can explain here, but here we have the same orientation. So if I go with image and then image size, you can see if I switch this to pixels that we are 1020 with 1920, which is actually what we did with Figma as well, with this thumbnail image. So basically I'm just going to recreate it in Photoshop, but using the image that we downloaded from Leonardo AI. So let me show you this first. If I scale it up just slightly like this, and then go here and then go select and mask, I want to select the subject, because again I want to get rid of this subject. I don't really want it in my image. But before we do, I have to rasterize it because it was a smart object, sorry. So select the mask, select subject once again. It's going to do its magic, hit OK, and then just hit right here. Let me hide myself so you can see it. You see this little photo image. This is going to just create a mask, and there you go. It just created this mask. But if I hide this and we use theirs, so it basically has, if I put them maybe side by side, so this is the one created by Leonardo. You can see the blur edges around it, but it only took us 1 click. And you can see the Photoshop version, which is much cleaner. It doesn't have any blur, but it took us maybe 5 or 6 clicks to create. So if you need to get rid of something, like for example, let's go with the one we got in Photoshop. For example, here we have this sort of weird logo thing, which I don't really want. So what I can do is, again, with the help of AI, or I can just hit Shift F5, which is going to bring in the content aware tool. I can just hit OK, and it's going to fill it in. Or if you don't like what it did there, you can just go with Clone Stamp tool. And I'm explaining all of this because if you start using these in combination with Figma or with Photoshop, you're going to get a lot of these, because AI is still not that great when it comes with recognizing text, recognizing hands, and recognizing different logos. So it still requires a human touch to for you to be able to work with it. So this looks really messy, but I'm going to show you a bit of a trick which you can use to clean up these images and to make it nice and smooth. I want to finalize this edge, which I think looks good now. You have a blur tool right here, so you can select the blur tool and just click and blur this entire section, because it's not really all that relevant to our image. So now we got rid of the logo and now we blurred this section of the image. So how would you go ahead and recreate what we did inside of Figma? Well, I'm going to select this hex code, which is actually the color code for it, jump into Photoshop again, and then click in my color picker, hit Ctrl V just to paste it, click here, hit G for the paint bucket tool, click here, and I have the same blue color. Then how I would go about in creating the rectangle around it is just use this rectangle tool, and here you can type in your dimensions, so 1080 with 1920, there we go, and you can just click here and position it wherever you want. So let's select the rectangle, hit A on your keyboard. I don't want any fill color, but I want the stroke color to be white, and I want it to be 20. There we go. So now what I can do is just position it here, but for some reason it went outside. So if I hit Ctrl D, yeah, you can see what it did. So instead of 1920, it went with 19,220. So let's get rid of that. And there we go. Now we have the same result as we do in Figma. So what we can also do is I will go ahead to Figma, copy this, go to Photoshop, click here, paste it, select the text, make sure it's here, make sure to change the color to white so you can see it, and let's see if we have enter here. We don't have enter, but maybe we can use a Lato bold in this case, for example, or let's go with Arial black. There we go, works just fine. Then you can select this and the background, click right here, oops, to make sure that it's in the center, like so. If you think it's too small, then you can nudge the size a little bit to something like this. I think this works fine. And I'm going to hit Ctrl J to duplicate this. And what did we say in Figma? Snap it right. So I can even copy this. There we go. I'm going to select this, take the color. There we go. So I'm going to say snap it right. There we go. And I'm going to go with much smaller text, like so. Then I'm going to take the rectangle tool and position this inside of a rectangle, which I will increase this to 50%. And for the fill color, I'm going to use this, which is the color which I just copied and pasted from Figma. And then because this has a stroke, I don't want a stroke. There we go. So snap it right. This can go on top and you can put it in a group. So Ctrl G, and then you can do this and select the text, put it in the center. There we go. Ctrl D. Now you can export this image already because I think it looks great. And the one in Figma is amazing as well. The final thing which is left is basically this blurred background, but you can even achieve that here in Photoshop. So just make sure you're above the rectangle because it's going to be easier to create. So just hit new layer, select a circle, drop it in, hold shift while you create it, position it roughly around here, and then select this, hit Ctrl V to paste this same color, or you can select it from here, hit G, and then just paint bucket it in. I think this looks great already, and we don't maybe even need the blur for this example, but in case you decide, you can select it, go to filter, blur, and then Gaussian blur usually works really good. So you can come here and crank it up all the way you want, and there you go. you got your blurred effect result. If you want to make it smaller, Control or Command T, and just reduce it in size to make it fit. So there you go. We have this nice example, but I'm going to expand it. So you can actually go ahead and hit export and quick export as PNG, and then you can export it to your desktop, for example, and then just go back here to InVideo, and where it says media library, you can upload your media library. So what we can do in this case is, because I really actually I like the Photoshop version better, so I will do File, Export, and then when it's done exporting, I'm going to go inside of here, and inside of my image library, just drag and drop it, and it's uploading. Obviously you don't want it to be this big, maybe you can reduce it a little bit in size, but basically you have started creating your media library, which you can reuse later, and you can upload and put inside of an album. So for example, thumbnails, I can create that album and I can put all of my images there. That's how easy it is to work with this stuff. Just remember, it's really important. If you want, you can go with InvideoAI for the image creation, or use a tool like this. This is just one I really like, Icon Scout, and then you can use Figma for free generation. Basically you never really have to pay for Figma because they have this awesome free plan for everybody, and you can use it forever for free. And then we also have Photoshop, which is the premium tool with a subscription, but it's obviously the go-to standard and the golden standard in the design community, because it's decades in the market and it has so many functionalities. That's why it's premium. But what I forgot to mention is Photoshop has its own AI functionalities. So if I select this and put it right here, for example, I can go with generative fill and I can say something like camera lens and hit generate. Now it's going to give me a couple of different options, which are going to show right here, and you can adjust the prompt. Again, it's all about the prompt and how well you describe it, because this is so simple. I'm not really going to bother about it, but as you can see, it added a lens to our camera. So maybe this is good, maybe this is good, and I think this actually is, because it's showing like a video camera. So you have this option as well, especially for these quick little edits where you can make some quick changes here and there. I think this is going to work out just fine. So remember, you can work with these tools in tandem to create an amazing result, which is going to increase your productivity and speed, which is why I would highly recommend to use a tool like InvideoAI and AI in general, because as time moves on, these AI generators are just going to be better and better, and stay ahead of the curve by start using them early, not to be left in the dust later. This is really important, because just 2 years ago, nobody really talked about these AI generators, and now they are everywhere. So the sooner you start, the better you're going to be, and the faster you're going to be in front of everybody else when clients really decide what they want to do and who they want to hire. A crucial thing about working with AI are licensing rights. There are many different talks online about unethical usage of AI, which is basically when AI is fed to information from around the world, from various different creators and artists without their consent. Consent is something where you approach to somebody else and say, hey, can I use your video or audio or drawing or 3D model or whatever else in my work? If they say yes, then you're good to go. If they say no, you cannot use it. Obviously there are legal implications here, so this is really serious stuff, and I wanted to make a video about this in this course, because it's on one hand amazing that we have these AIs, but on the other hand, just be careful what you are using. Now with InvideoAI, you don't really have that problem, because if I take you here again, they are using premium tools where the content has been created by humans, which is why I love this tool so much. And the content created by humans is already licensed, and you already have the right to use it if you pay to InvideoAI. Why? Because that's the premium source as well. So they have to pay those creators at that end. That's why you have to pay for it using InvideoAI. So it's just straightforward and just obvious. However, if you go with a tool like this, obviously the camera we generated is not really possible and not really feasible, so it's just an attention grabber, which is actually what we wanted. But you can just imagine that it's going to create something which is so true to the point where if this is a Canon camera and it looks so similar to the Canon camera, in some cases maybe Canon is going to approach to you and claim a lawsuit against you and sue you because you used their image against their will, basically. Or if you go ahead and create a person which resembles a drawing from a famous artist, then that artist can sue you as well as the AI in which you created it. So just make sure to pay attention to that. It's really, really, really important to do that, especially with audio, because if you're using audio that you just found on Google, or if you're using famous tracks like, I don't know, Taylor Swift or somebody, you're pretty much guaranteed that your content is going to be taken down or flagged as inappropriate for monetization. Because if you want to make money with your content, like for example with YouTube, you have to make sure that you're using content you have legal rights to do so. You cannot just Google things and put them inside and hope for the best and see what happens, because it's going to be flagged down. Because you are using AI to create content, they are using AI to scan content. So you can be pretty sure you're going to get caught, if not today, then at some point, pretty sure. So just make sure to have the proper rights, proper usage rights for the content that you create and for the content that others will consume. So the website I mentioned, you have to pay for it. So for example, this Icon Scout, but they also have some free versions inside of here, just like these guys have, just like Unsplash has for images, for example. So just make sure to inform yourself about licensing rights, about different license types, about usage rights, because in some cases, if you're using videos, which you go ahead then and upload here to InvideoAI, if you don't have the proper licensing rights for it, it might be taken down and flagged down. This is extremely important if you're working with a client, because not only they are going to be sued, you are going to be sued by them, by original creator, by the platform you posted. So it can be really messy. So not to scare you too much, you just have to be smart about it, and you just have to think before you use somebody else's content. This is really crucial and really important. So to familiarize yourselves a little bit with these licenses and licensing rights, I'm going to leave this website, which is Creative Commons website, in the PDF, and you can read through about different licenses. So you can go with licenses and tools if you want to adapt a certain license to your rights or something which is not what you're really concerned about. You're more concerned about what you are allowed to do. Now, you should really look at it on the platform at which you are posting and see what sort of regulations do they have, and also where you took the content from. So for example, if I go with this website, I might go into settings or about and see the licenses for it. So for example, if I click right here, I can see purchased all access subscription. So unlimited, 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 and I can use it for whatever I want, basically, because that's the license they are going to provide to me. But here you can see that the CC platform is with these companies. So They exist across millions of websites, the majority hosted on content platforms that provide CC license options for their users. So this is a Creative Commons user and license. So about CC licenses, so you can see different options. So CC BY enables reusers to distribute, remix, adapt, and build upon the material in any medium or format, so long as attribution is given to the creator. So imagine an image you took, you used it right here, or a video. You have to attribute the original creator. You have to set who created this actual piece of content. So credit must be given to the creator. Here in this one, credit must be given to the creator. Adaptations must be shared under the same terms. So it's different. Here, only non-commercial uses of the work are permitted. What that means is, if you post this on YouTube, for example, you cannot monetize that content. So you cannot make money from that content under this certain license if that content piece was under that license. So you can see non-commercial adaptations must be shared on the same terms, no derivatives. Here, non-commercial again. CC0 is a public dedication tool which enables creators to give up their copyright and put their works into worldwide public domain. Again, worldwide public domain. In some cases you have country-specific domains, so make sure to check that out. CC0 enables reusers to distribute, remix, adapt, and build upon the material in any medium or format with no conditions. From all of this, take this as a sort of crucial information: with no conditions. So you don't have to attribute anybody, you don't have to say where you got the content, you don't have to post a link to the original creator, you don't have to worry about a lawsuit, you don't have to worry about anything if it's under CC0 license. Make sure to check this. This is extremely important for whatever you are creating. Just make sure. Also, if you're using tools like this or Midjourney, especially Midjourney, in some cases you will see those logos which we removed in Photoshop. If you see a famous logo like Canon or Mercedes-Benz or Apple or whatever, make sure to get rid of it if you decide to use that image, because those companies might come after you because you used it in unethical and unlawful way inside of your content which you are monetizing or which somebody else is monetizing, for example your client. So again, these licenses are extremely important. Again, I'm going to leave the link to Creative Commons licenses in the PDF. Make sure to check it out just to familiarize yourself with different types of licenses. Now, it's worth noting that those are not the only licenses out there. So again, make sure to explore, to learn about this yourself, because it's a pretty big topic when it comes to usage of somebody else's work, which at the end of the day you are doing, except if you're not creating everything from scratch. Again, with InvideoAI, you are fine because they are using content from pre-approved platforms like iStock, for example. But if you are using content from somewhere else that you got for free and you inserted it into a InvideoAI, they are basically renouncing the obligation about that right, and you are the one who is going to get blamed by the third person if they discover that you use their content without their consent. So again, pretty important topic. Make sure to familiarize yourself with it and you're going to be good to go as soon as you understand which sort of sources are good to use the content from and which sort of sources are not that good. Your project task for this project is to try and recreate what we did using the prompt styling and prompt structure that we created in this class, and then try to get the results of your own. In this class we used the one for photography, but it doesn't necessarily have to be for photography. You can feel free to use your own topic to whatever it interests you. Just make sure to structure it in a way that makes sense and that it resembles what we did in the course. Remember to always try and point to how long your video is going to be, for which platform it's going to be, and try to decide on which kind of voiceover do you want to go for if you're not uploading your own. If you are exporting this video later with watermark, just make sure to explore different possibilities and see how your results end up looking like before you actually go ahead and purchase this tool. Remember, it's all about prompts. So good prompts with AI make good videos. So the better your prompt is and the more detailed it is, the better you can describe your topic, what you want the AI to create, and how you want your end results to look like, the better your video is going to turn out to be at the end. Remember, you can always go back, edit your video, edit your script, edit your voiceover. You can do all sorts of these edits, and that's a great thing about InvideoAI because it's an online tool, it's in the browser, you can access it from everywhere, so you can just continue where you left off and continue refining your masterpiece. Just remember, try to upload this to some social media. So if you're uploading this to YouTube, make sure to send me the link. I will gladly go ahead and check it out and post a like and click a like. Or if you're posting it on Instagram or on X, make sure to tag me and make sure to let me know about your creation. I'm really excited to see what you guys can create, and I'm really excited to see where all of this technology is going to go in the future, because I'm really excited about it and I'm really trying to keep up with these AI trends, because I really believe that we can work together, us and the machines, and that we can create the best possible results together rather than against each other. That's why I really like InvideoAI, because you can combine this sort of human touch with AI to go and get the best possible result at the end, which is it just looks natural and it doesn't look AI made, because it has that human touch. And I still believe that this is really important, and that's going to be really important in the future as well. So go ahead, make something awesome, and I'm really excited to see what you guys can create. There we go, we reached the end of this course. I really truly hope you enjoyed it and that you learned something new and that you are going to utilize AI in your workflow. I'm really excited to see your results, so make sure to tag me on social media, make sure to let me know what you guys can create, and I'm really excited to see your final results. Remember, it's all about refining your prompt, and it's all about explaining your intentions to AI to get the best possible result. Make sure to check out the PDF because it has some helpful links inside of it, and also make sure to reach out if you have any questions both to me and also to InvideoAI team, because they're really proud in themselves on quick response times. So if you have a problem at any point, make sure to reach out to them, because I'm sure your feedback will be extremely valuable to them to continuing improving InvideoAI and to making it really this awesome tool that everybody can use. So thank you once again for watching this course. I really truly hope that you're going to utilize this tool in your arsenal, and I look forward to see what you guys can create. Take care.